What I'm going to tell you here in this video today challenges everything you've heard about the existence of extraterrestrial civilizations. Forget it, just like that, okay? Everything you thought you knew about aliens, about flying saucers, about the gray beings, about interdimensional beings, because the truth, the reality, it can be even more bizarre than any science fiction movie or any science fiction series that has ever been created. And the reason, my people, is that the truth is hidden, it's concealed in underexplored scientific concepts, which are ignored by the media and even by the traditional academic community. What I'm going to bring to you today is a cosmic mystery that can redefine our understanding of the universe and intelligent life. I'm going to present to you a new scientific hypothesis that can explain many things about our universe. And it might even be this one that's really baffling people. And I'm sure this video is going to blow your mind as well. Don't forget to start this video by clicking below on Become a Member and come be a part of this other branch of the sect. Also, take the opportunity to subscribe to the Shorts channel because there I post short, quick videos of daily mysteries. That way, you won't miss out on absolutely anything that happens on our strange planet. Now, have you ever heard of the concept of exoplanet escape factor? I'm sure you haven't heard of it yet because this is a term that's still known in astrophysics. This term defines the necessary speed for an object to escape a planet's gravity. But what if I tell you that this factor could be the reason why many alien civilizations never managed to leave their own worlds, never managed to leave their own planets, including us here on Earth? Imagine you, an intelligent, advanced civilization capable of creating complex structures but simply cannot reach space. They are beings that are trapped on their own planets like cosmic prisoners, hostages of their own gravity. The Spanish astrophysicist Helio Quiroga recently published a revolutionary study addressing this topic from a new perspective. He proposed two frighteningly disturbing contexts: the FIX factor, which is linked to the escape velocity of exoplanets, and the so-called Aquarium worlds, which are places where intelligent beings are condemned to a cloistered existence without even glimpsing what exists beyond their own skies. Now, for those who think with me, Earth even has a comfortable gravity for us who are humans. So the rocket there, the Saturn V spacecraft, for example, it needed to reach 11.2 kilometers per second to escape from Earth, to escape from this gravity of Earth. But what if there was a planet with gravity 3, 4, or 10 times greater than ours? To escape from a place like that, the technology would have to be absurdly more advanced. Okay, and what's the problem with all of this? The problem, folks, is that the amount of energy needed to leave this planet would have to be exponentially increased. So a planet with 10 times the gravity of Earth would require its inhabitants to develop thrusters 10 times more powerful. Engines that perhaps not even the most advanced technology that exists can conceive. And what is the result of this then? The result of this are trapped civilizations, unable to break these gravitational problems of their homeworlds. And that's where things get even stranger now. Because if there were intelligent beings on these worlds, what would these beings look like? Because, let's agree, they would need to evolve incredibly to withstand these crushing pressures. So some theorists argue that they would be extremely light beings, almost ethereal, almost like feathers, beings in the shape of floating feathers. I told you that the idea you had of extraterrestrial at the beginning of this video, that this idea would be completely transformed, right? Well, this is where that transformation begins because others argue that these beings would have to have very dense bodies, very robust, covered by colossal armors, to resist these gravitational forces that I would say are relentless. So we are talking about deformed creatures, grotesque creatures that could even challenge our perception of what it means to be a living being. And what I'm telling you is not everything, okay? Because Helio Quiroga also talks about these aquarium worlds, which are exoplanets where life is trapped in environments impossible to explore. And it's here, my people, that the implications are even more frightening. So imagine an oceanic world covered by deep seas and completely sealed by an impenetrable layer of ice. The beings that inhabit these depths, they would never see the sky. So they wouldn't imagine the existence of the universe out there. They would have submerged civilizations trapped in aquatic bubbles, not knowing that there is something beyond. And the technologies of these beings would be different because their development would be unique, but in the end, they would be condemned to their own natural prison. And if this planet were even more extreme, that is, if there was no atmosphere, just an ocean suffocated between layers of ice, in this case, there would not even be the concept of surface that we have here. There would only be an infinite liquid underground, a world without stars, without horizons, without any glimpse of the cosmos. These beings would live completely and eternally in darkness, without any notion that there is a universe beyond.
Is it strange?
It's very strange, I know, but we're going even further because that Drake equation, that famous equation for calculating the probability of intelligent life in the universe, it doesn't take into account what I'm showing you here today. It doesn't consider this. So, since its formulation, scientists have always assumed that frozen exoplanets were dead, without liquid water, and therefore without life. But recent discoveries show that there may be warm and liquid seas within these frozen worlds thanks to underground volcanic activity. This means that the number of civilizations in the cosmos could be much larger than we imagined. But we are talking about situations of trapped, isolated civilizations unable to explore the stars. But the conspiracy doesn't stop there, okay? Because we are going to explore something even more absurd that you may have never thought about. I'm talking about extraterrestrial life without necessarily the existence of a planet. Yes, that's exactly what you're hearing. And this is not a hypothesis of mine, okay? It's a hypothesis from Harvard and University of Edinburgh scientists suggesting that there may be forms of life that don't need planets to exist. Yes, I'm talking about creatures that float through deep space, that wander between star systems in an invisible interstellar ecosystem. Robin Woodsworth and Charles Cockwell argue that photosynthetic organisms could develop structures to protect themselves from cosmic radiation and create their own atmospheres, and even store water in organic capsules. This new theory suggests that these cosmic beings could absorb microparticles of water from space, process nutrients, and live completely independently. And it is here now then that we have a very big revelation. Because these organisms, although they don't have planets, they can be detected. Because if they released gases like methane, for example, we could find unexplainable clouds of biological compounds floating through space. Evidence that nomadic life forms may be everywhere, watching us without us ever suspecting. And it's exactly now that I ask you, and what if these life forms are already here? I'm asking this, folks, because there are footage here from planet Earth of military bases of floating beings that do not match at all with nature that we know. In other words, with the forms of life that we know. So, what if these space organisms are responsible for unexplainable phenomena like unidentified flying object sightings and all these mysterious appearances? And what if these civilizations trapped in the aquarium worlds are trying to communicate with us in some way? And what if the life forms that roam the cosmos have already made contact with governments that silence the truth to keep humanity in the dark? Well, that's what Howard Phillips Lovecraft used to say. He said that humanity's greatest fear is the fear of the unknown. So, if the true form of alien life is so grotesque, so beyond our understanding, that is, something our mind could not process, if they are gigantic, cosmic, or invisible creatures, or if they move slowly between galaxies, if they are watching us as if we were ants in a huge anthill, the alien conspiracy is much bigger than we imagine. And the universe is not a quiet place. Civilizations exist, they are trapped, wandering or lurking in the shadows of the cosmos. And the question here now, after hearing all this, is not whether we are alone. The question is, do they already know that we are here? And that makes me think a bit about our condition. Because I don't know if you've heard that planet Earth is in fact a prison planet. The hypothesis of Earth as a prison planet is a conspiracy theory that I find very fascinating, and it suggests that humanity is not here by chance, but rather that we were placed on this planet by a superior force, by an extraterrestrial force, by an interdimensional force, as punishment to serve some kind of cosmic sentence. This idea there, it gained a lot of strength in philosophical, religious, and even biological interpretations because there are those who argue that the human being seems biologically incompatible with the planet itself. There are some points that are very relevant to this theory. If you stop to think, we are the only beings that suffer from the terrestrial environment. So, unlike other animals, humans need clothes, shelter, technology to survive. Our body does not seem to be naturally adapted to this world. So, there are health problems related to gravity, sunlight. Some people suffer from back and joint pain, as if our body was not prepared to withstand Earth's gravity. In addition, exposure to the sun for long periods can cause severe damage to our skin, which is something uncommon in other animals and species. And also, of course, there is the psychological feeling of not belonging. Many people feel a real deep disconnection with the earth, as if they had been exiled or imprisoned here. This feeling is often associated with an unexplainable desire to go home, but without knowing where to. The need to tame nature is also a symptom because while other animals live harmoniously with their habitat, the human being is the only one who needs to shape the environment around them to survive. So we deforest, we build cities, we drastically alter the landscape of our planet. And all this for what? Because we are prisoners of our own reality. So who do you think imprisoned us here? Could it have been extraterrestrials or superior beings? Could it have been interdimensional architects? Could it have been ancient gods? Or could this be part of that soul recycling theory, which is a concept associated with this idea that we can't escape Earth even after death? There's also another more conspiratorial strand that says we're not just prisoners, but that we are guinea pigs in a big experiment and that the moon serves as an observation base. The moon there, with its strange orbit and its perfect synchronization with Earth, could be an artificial satellite used to monitor us. But of course, folks, this is just a conspiracy theory, just another conspiracy theory, right? But if Earth is a prison planet, is there any way out? Because if this theory is real, what would be the chance of us escaping from here? Well, there are some people that cycles of spiritual awakening and the rejection of these light traps could allow our consciousness to escape from the control of the jailers of this prison. So, expansion of consciousness, space exploration may serve to bring us answers about this imprisonment that we live here on planet Earth. But one thing I tell you, if we are really prisoners, we will never be able to escape from the prison matrix of this planet. And this is at the same time a comfort and at the same time a despair, because we don't know, and this not knowing makes us feel very lost around here. Exploring ideas and hypotheses that are not at all conventional, to try to justify our emotional losses, our existential voids, and these hypotheses even lead people to war, fight, defending their sides, as if this were a truth. And truthfully, at the bottom of all this, we have no answer. We continue living in the dark.